When you think about energy, there's really two drivers that I think about. One is the economy, and the other one is policy. And you can pretty much describe all of energy in those two terms. As the economy increases, so does overall energy use, and vice versa. If you plot a curve of the economy versus energy, they are exactly the same in shape. In the policy front, there's really two policies that drive supply and price of energy, and one is the environmental policy of the state and of the nation, and the other is, of course, the energy policy of the state and the nation. So I want to talk a little bit about energy economics, and I want to talk a little bit about energy policy. But there's one thing that trumps policy and economy, and that's Mother Nature. And I thought you might be interested. I won't talk but a couple of minutes about this, but I thought you might be interested in when Mother Nature hits, the economy and policies don't matter anymore. When people are without power, those things can really take a back seat. If you look at our history, and this is BusinessNH, I have state statistics at the bottom there, but what we've always considered the big storms of history are shown there on the left, the four houses. Those are really, really big storms from our perspective. And then along came December 11th and 12th, and you add up all of the storms of all of time, and the four biggest ones do not equal how big this storm was in December. I can't overemphasize the enormity of what Mother Nature did to the state. It's the first time, by the way, that the state declared it a state of emergency in all counties of the state of New Hampshire. So it was a rather massive effort by ourselves and a whole lot of other people. A couple of statistics you might be interested in. About 66% of our customers were without power, which is just staggering. About 2/3 of our electrical system was damaged. So if you can think about your own business, how are you going to recover 66% of your assets and fix them as fast as you possibly can? In the first full day of the storm, we had 161,000 customer calls. If you can think of yourself as a business, that's about 7 weeks worth of normal calls. So you have 7 weeks of calls in one day. So how would your company deal with that situation? We were able to muster over 1,200 crews from all over Canada, the Midwest, Alabama. Our normal contingent crews is about 150 crews, so we were doing multiples of resources. And as one of our supervisors pointed out, for every crew there's 10 to 12 support people. So if you can imagine the thousands of people that were mobilized to handle this storm of the history from my perspective. So it was a rather massive thing, and it kind of reminds you how important electricity is. And I share some of my own personal stories, how most of us individually were not well prepared. One of them is my cellar flooded, and I found out my insurance didn't cover it. So, whereas the business, I say, we're really great at planning for disasters, and we're really great at business continuity planning, so why don't we do it at home? So that'll be one of my messages to you today. My wife reminds me of that one. I was at work and she was dealing with it, and you know how that goes. Anybody who worked for a utility knows your family is on their own in those situations.